The 2025 Gold Cup finals on Sunday between the USA and Mexico for, I believe, the 8th time in Gold Cup history. And we're here to give you guys our preview and predictions for that game. Make sure to stick around. Let us know your score predictions in the comments down below before you watch this video, and we will be reading and reacting to as many as we can. I want to start it off by saying, in your opinion, Andres, who is going into this match in better form here? Because there's a lot. It's not as simple as this team's won more, this team's won more. There's obviously a lot more that's been going into these games than really just them winning. So, in your opinion, who goes into this one feeling better about it all?
I'm gonna go. It's gonna sound biased, but I'm gonna go Mexico here. I'm gonna go. L3, I think, is in the better form in terms of being able to put teams away. That, in my opinion, we don't talk about the last game. That was a scrappy last 15 minutes, but I think it's just. I'm gonna say best informed just because we haven't relied on any penalty shootouts to finish games.
That's fair.
That's my reasoning. A little logic for once. So yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna say the United States, or are you gonna?
No, I'm actually gonna say Mexico here too. I think this isn't a good versus bad form. This is a who's in better form. I think USA is in decent form. I don't know. It's a little bit of a struggle to say that USA is in good form. Like, yes, they haven't lost. They've only dropped points in the semifinal or in the quarterfinal matchup against Costa Rica. Like the USA, they're winning their games. They're getting to this point, but it's not been pretty, especially in the game against Guatemala in the last one. If any of you who are watching were on that stream with me and Joaquin watching that game, you'll know our thoughts on it, but they weren't looking that good. They started off really hot, got 2 very early goals, and that's the only reason they won, and then just really dropped off. Like almost purposefully, they fully dropped off, let Guatemala pretty much take control of that game, and Guatemala very well could have, if maybe not should have, won that game, if not for, like I said, the early goals. Whereas Mexico haven't conceded a goal since the first Gold Cup game against Dominican Republic. It's 4 clean sheets in a row for Malagón at the back. And I'm not going to say it's been much prettier than the USA's. It hasn't been like outright Mexico's dominating this tournament for sure. Yeah, but Mexico can go into this game feeling just a little bit better. Like they're still winning tougher games, whereas the USA are like just limping across the line in some scenarios. Like that Costa Rica penalties, like you said, and it could have went another way very easily. That Guatemala game, like I just talked about, could have went another way very, very easily. Only won 2-1 against Guatemala, who you should be beating. No shade to Guatemala, but you should be beating. So I would say Mexico are definitely going into this with more momentum. But on paper, that is. I feel like the USA have been mentally, I can imagine them feeling really good. I don't know if you saw Tim Ream, his comment the other day. I can read it off to you in just a second. Now, this isn't the full comment, but part of what he said was, we're on to a final that I'd say a month ago, everyone basically counted us out of. Shame on them. So they have this mentality that they're against the world, including for some reason, including American fans, who a lot of us didn't think that they were going to make this final. Let's just remind them real quick that this is the Gold Cup, right? This is the Concacaf Gold Cup, the Copa Oro. It's not the craziest thing in the world to be in the final of and winning, but I do feel like they're going to go into this feeling more momentous than they have on paper. So yeah, but Mexico for sure. I mean, like they've been winning their games in tough games and they're still winning it. It's just not pretty, but they're doing it. That's all that matters. So yeah. But if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments down below, of course. But go ahead, Andres.
No, I was just gonna say I think the United States are playing a chip on the show. I think they have that personality that we mentioned probably before the Gold Cup that they were lacking, specifically with Luna. I think has a little chip on his shoulder. Obviously, just like the way he was brought up, all that jazz. Was playing USL Championship. Now he's playing, in the Gold Cup final. Yada yada yada. However, the U.S. media want to spin this, but he plays with passion. You got to respect it, and this helps a lot of other players play with passion. Now, the whole agenda of us against the world type thing, like Tim. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, all right, you're still, people can still doubt you based on the fact that you just played, Switzerland and Turkey, and you didn't look good. And then, your form behind that, before those games, you can easily be like, all right, that's understandable, I think they're going into this game as the underdog, rightfully so, just because, it's not the full United States best team, but at least it's players that want to be there. You know what I mean? To an extent. And Mexico's going in there with our best team possible, with a few minor tweaks here and there, barge injuries and suspensions from leaving a certain country and all that jazz. But I just think this is going to be an interesting one for sure. I think it's going to be a lot of groundwork in the sense of being in the trenches. I think for this game, just because I think the United States is going to try and make this one a little bit of
Hmm.
scrappy game. I'm not going to lie. I think tensions are going to rise a lot, just because I think I saw a lot in the Guatemala game. The bits I did see in the highlights and stuff of a lot of chippiness between the two, and there's always a lot of chippiness between Mexico and the United States, and I think it's just gonna be amplified times two. And so that's gonna be interesting to see. I'm hoping no red cards because I'm tired of seeing us get red
You
carded
never know.
against the United
Shoot
States.
yourself in
It's
the
very
foot there.
frustrating.
It's very possible. And to use that actually to segue into my next point here, a question. This is very obviously Mexico's game to win, right? Like Mexico should be on paper, or Mexico fans want to spin it, whatever. Mexico should be winning this game outright, right? And like, yes, it's Mexico USA, it could go either way, but let's remember here too. Mexico brought, like you said, pretty much their A team for the most part, like literally their A team, with the only difference being Huescas because he doesn't know how to drive under the speed limit, and that's not him. But given that he didn't have to do that, it would be a full, complete A team from Mexico. Whereas the USA is bringing a pretty heavily B team with a few A team players in here, right? No, no, no. I'm not saying that to be like give USA some leeway or blah blah. It's going to be even better if they win, whatever. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Mexico, it is their game to win without a doubt, because the ramifications of this game, if the USA lose, it's going to be another fork in the road. So be it. They're already on this track and have been just really just trudging along, trying to get through all these back into good form. You make a final, you lose this game, it's not the wildest thing in the world, because I don't think many expect them to win anyway, right? Whereas Mexico here on the other end almost should have been winning this tournament from the get-go. And so, which is why I say it's their match to win. If they lose this game to a B team for the USA, I feel like there's going to be a lot of different ramifications, both in the media and much public opinion about Mexico here. But with that being said, Andres, would you feel that this is more of Mexico should be winning this over the USA?
I think yes, obviously, just because of the differences in the quality of the team. I mean, it's just kind of like stand out. And obviously, I think anytime, no matter the circumstance, Mexico fans always want us to beat the United States, no matter what, and that's rightfully so. Rivals. Um, I think what's I've noticed about the United States stance on this is like it's consistently like, oh, it's not our best team, it's kind of a throwaway game, like who cares? And I think that's probably the wrong mentality for the United States, and things have been going wrong. Is like by the time they actually have their best team available, right? Then it doesn't go that well because they're not playing together in these high pressured games, really, and they can't put things going on the pitch. And I think that's their fault for not being able to bring their strongest team. Yes, they had players that said they were injured or needed a rest or whatever,
And
and
Club World Cup too.
yeah, and Club World Cup, etc. And that's on them for having that issue. But I think I feel like every time we do talk about a United States Mexico matchup, it's the United States excuse is they have less to lose because it's not the best team. But I think the pressure's still there, obviously, for Mexico because underdog mentality from the United States. They're going to show up to play, and this is a test to Mexico for the World Cup of can we get the job done when we need to. If we have a team that's we're better than, then we got to just get the job done no matter what. So it's another good test because I think every single group, every game since the group stage, I think has been a great test for us of we're the better team on paper. We're supposed to win this game, and we've found a way to win every single time. And that, especially against teams that are going to play bunker ball, teams that are going to play five in the back or five in the midfield to congest the midfield. That this is a great test once again because I expect the United States to play off the counter for this game to give us
Hmm.
a lot of the
You,
possession.
you think Poch cares enough about the team to set up that way? Not
I
Mexico, not
just
Mexico. I'm sorry, like
no, no,
more
I
so
no,
care
no.
about the USA. Yeah.
I see I get what you mean. I think that just because I think Mexico are going to go in this home field advantage. It's in Texas. Come on, it's a home field advantage. No matter what. I just see us going into this game wanting the ball more in the sense of like we want to dictate the tempo of this. We're not going to give it to the United States because like look, those two early goals against Guatemala like completely changed the game arguably, and you don't want the United States to even have possession of the ball to give it to Luna. Look, you can have your opinions on Luna however you want, if he's a good player, bad player, whatever, but he's in form. And when a player's in form, doesn't matter what he was in the past. If he's in form, he's going to find a way to score goals or at least create opportunities. So just take that out of his hands by maintaining possession at least the first 15 minutes just to kind of like settle down. Um, So yeah, I think that's how. But I'm hesitant. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hesitant on Aguirre for this game because I
Hmm.
was not very happy with the 1-0 win against Honduras. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we should have won by a lot more, and I thought he got the tactics wrong in the first half.
Hmm. Fair. I think one thing too for the USA here is they start Agyemang, they lose, man. I'm trying not to disrespect Agyemang because I'm sure he's a good person and he's earned the spot on the U.S. men's national team and however the USSF thinks he has. But if you watch the game against Guatemala, like he finished that game with a somewhat decent rating online, but it was only because he had like a few good touches towards the end of his appearance, and that's about it. But he provides zero things. Now imagine Agyemang against with Johan Vasquez at his back, where Ajiman's trying to be the bruiser and trying to hold a play there. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work here. I think for like the USA against Mexico, you need fast, quicker attackers that are able to get past their defense because defensively, I don't obviously clean sheet's great, but I think that Mexico does give up a lot of opportunities and still look a little shaky when it comes to the counterattack or fast paced attacks from the other team. So I think that's how the USA should be setting up here. But I don't see them playing deeper bunker ball. I think at least not intentionally. What I could see is like you're right. I do see Mexico maybe trying to maintain more of the possession, and as a result, USA are just gonna have to sit there and wait essentially. But I don't think they're gonna come into this thinking let's drop back and let's wait it out because when the USA and Mexico have played historically, or at least the last few years, and granted this is mainly with an A team, but when both teams are going at each other, USA has been a better team. And USA does tend to be able to get a little bit more from those games when they're really going at each other, and that is why the USA have been Mexico's kryptonite a lot up until the past like half year or so, or year half year to year or so. Just because that is how they play, USA is able to take more advantage of Mexico when it comes to that style of play. So I do think they're going to kind of go into this with the same mentality, but it is a different manager. It's not Berhalter, it is Posh, blah blah blah, all that jazz. Um, I can use that to go into another thing here. Do you think Mexico stops the U.S. men's national team from scoring a goal? Like I said, 4 clean sheets in a row. Yet the USA has kind of seemed to just get goals out of nowhere randomly, and they're scoring and they're winning these games. You think Mexico's able to stop the USA from getting anything here?
I want to say. I'm gonna say no. I think they can score a goal. I think I agree with you. I think at times the back line looks a little shaky in possession. I think because of a lot of against Honduras, a lot of their chances, even though they only had one shot on target. Other chances came from mistakes in their back line or passing through the midfield to build up play. So yeah, I think something could happen in that situation. And Malagon's been untested and has looked a little shaky in certain aspects of his game when he has been called upon, save wise, like distribution or attacking in
Right.
the air. He's whiffed on a couple crosses. So I think that's probably where the United States could capitalize. But it depends on the formation too, because I've noticed a lot of the time they like to cut inside the United States and have shots. So it just kind of depends on what the midfield is going to be looking like. Because I'm a big advocate right now for a 4-4-2,
Mm-hmm.
just because I think for this game to make the statement of okay, this is the United States B team. Let's make a statement here with our A team. Let's put this game away like quickly, or at least like put out a contest relatively fast, or like dominate the entire game. I think that's when you switch to a 4-4-2. You attack them as much as possible. Obviously, 4-4-2 when you're attacking in a 4-2-4, so it creates a lot of tension in the midfield. And we switched to that against Honduras at the worst possible time, which made zero
Yeah.
sense to me. And then
Yeah.
it took Edson Alvarez for him to yell at Aguirre to put another midfielder because all Honduras did was put two strikers on top of Johan and Cesar Montes, and Honduras kept winning the second ball because we had only two midfielders. Really stupid tactics from Aguirre. I'm glad he changed it, but it still was a squeaky bum time moment there. But I
Yeah.
think this is the game where you got to revert back to a 4-4-2 because all of a sudden we went from a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3, and that's when I saw a lot of struggle with us creating chances offensively. And then, so yeah, I think a 4-4-2 is ideal for this game in terms of attacking wise. But defensively, I'm gonna hope if we limit the mistakes, I think the likelihood of the United States scoring will decrease significantly.
Yeah. Then last question before we go to score predictions. Does Mexico improve on their goal scoring opportunities, whether that's getting goals or even creating goals here? Because again, I mean, Honduras was looking like a little bit better in terms of creation, but it's been a constant thing that I've critiqued Mexico on in this tournament so far is that they haven't looked good going forward. And that's you can't deny that. Like they're getting their goals, but it's not It's not been pretty. It's not been Mexico goal scoring, which we have seen before. They've gone to this point, not very closely, but like they're winning these games or it could have went either way. Saudi Arabia in particular, like that one goal, it was first of all, it was a bad shot that just went right at the keeper and it bounced right back onto Vega's foot and he was able to score. And then an own goal, things like that. Does Mexico improve on their ability to score goals in this one against the USA for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just the magnitude of the match, the pressure, to win this game. I think is going to drive the players even more because like it's a final against the United States, your arch rivals. Of course, I think it's going to bring them to another gear. Possibly, I've noticed that a lot of the games we do start slow. Like it takes us like the second half to really like get things going offensively. But this is the type of game where I think you have to like get it going early on, just to settle things down. I think, and just to like really put like your foot on their throat type thing of just like, all right, like we have this in the bag, like you're not really gonna do anything here. So that's what I think we have to do, and I think I can see an offensive. I just think it depends on who Aguirre puts on this pitch. I genuinely think so because we have no right winger. So that kind of limits the attack a little bit. We were only playing with a striker and a left winger in reality, so that's kind of frustrating. And we have it's just so weird to me the fact that last game we had Chavez the left back playing as a left winger and we had Vega and Raul playing as striker. It's like
Mm.
if we're gonna make that decision, why not just put Santi there because Santi attracts attention. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think it depends on the formation, and if we start out strong with a 4-4-2, I can see us having some pretty good chances early on. Just because I think the U.S. backline isn't the best ever in this tournament. In all fairness, I think they've not really done a great job. Especially they had some chances that Guatemala probably should have finished. So I think
Yeah.
there's going to be chances there too. But yeah,
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, the USA's backline has been fine. I can't say it's been good. Chris Richards has been good, I think. Honestly, Freeman and Arson have had decent games, but I don't think either of them should be on the team at all when it comes to an A team. And then Tim Ream is Tim Ream. He's been fine. I'm tired of it. Whatever job he's been doing, so can Mark McKenzie, so can Cameron Carter-Vickers, so can Austin Tressy, even like the younger guys, Noah Kai Banks, things like that. They could do the same shift, I think. So why is Tim Ream still getting the start here? And it scares me because is Tim Ream going to be the starter in the 2026 World Cup? It might be
yes,
very possible. But I think this matchup here is a really, really interesting matchup to watch. You have a team who can't create opportunities versus a team who is giving up a lot of opportunities to the other team. Well, I'm talking about the USA. USA has been okay going forward, whereas Mexico has been pretty solid back defensively. The midfield battle is what I'm interested in seeing too. And if Mexico doesn't win this midfield battle, I think it's going to be a big shame, big disappointment for Mexico because I feel like the USA's midfield has been probably the worst part so far. At least like the true midfielders, not like the Diego Luna and Malik Tillman part of the midfield, but like the true like Tyler Adams, Luca De La Torre. I don't think they've been that amazing. I think the midfield was looking fine against Guatemala. They did their job, but Guatemala easily could have overran it. And I do see what's going to like that happening against Mexico here. Like Luca De La Torre versus Gilberto Mora, 16-year-old versus MLS Luca De La Torre. I can kind of see more of
give it to the
bossing it a little
kid.
bit, to be honest. Yeah. So I do want to see a little bit more from the midfield here, just more presentation, more product when it's all said and done. But again, it's a good matchup, and I think the USAB team has done better than I would have expected per se. Right here, I do think like the USAB team is a lot better overall than past B teams. Like back in 21 when we were watching Matthew Hoppe lead the line for the U.S. men's national team. It is a lot better, and I'm really excited to see this matchup. But your final score prediction, Andres, to
uh,
send the video home here.
2-0. I gotta do it.
Just
I
just
gotta
going
do
for
it.
the the meme, huh?
Going for the jugular, baby.
Why
I
is it
was
always
so
Dos a 0 though?
bro. I don't know. It's it happens so much. You know what I mean? That like you get tired of hearing it. So
It
I
happens so
just
much.
yeah. No, in terms of the chant, you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
When Mexico
oh,
has lost to the United
oh, oh.
States.
I think you meant like the result, like
No, no,
the
no, 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 no,
result.
no. I'm talking
Gotcha.
about that. So I'm gonna go 2-0.
Hmm.
Clean sheet again
I
for Malagon.
obviously I want the USA to win, but like I feel like I haven't seen enough of the USA to be able to pull a win out here. Like I wish I saw more in the game against Guatemala for them to be like going to this final and be like, yeah, like USA are in top form. They're gonna play really well against Mexico. They can take any team on right now. Like no, you can make the claim that Guatemala was a better side, and it's no shade to Guatemala. It's Guatemala. It's FIFA number 106 in the world, and you're letting Guatemala look like that, regardless of B team or not. Even before that, Costa Rica could have were this close to pulling it out if it wasn't for Matt Freese's brilliance. So not enough of this tournament has told me that the USA are able to win these really, really crazy, intense games. Whereas Mexico, they are pulling out these wins in some way, shape, or form, and it's not pretty either.
It's
But they're doing a little
comfortable though.
more.
I think it's comfortable.
I wouldn't say I mean,
I'm comfortable.
Honduras made you sweat a little bit at the end.
Honduras made me sweat because of Aguirre. Like I wasn't like look. You
Yeah,
have
but
the
I mean,
Edson Alvarez goal that should have been a goal again. So that's 2-0, right? In the 54th, by the 54th minute, it's 2-0. Like the game changes, and we probably go on to score 2 more type thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think, and then our attack slowly died as the game went on. But I think honestly, Aguirre kind of messed up the entire thing, and that was his managerial decision that put us in that spot to begin with, because you let Honduras get into that game. And we played Costa Rica. Yes, the United States beat them in penalties, but Costa Rica did absolutely nothing relatively, and didn't score against us, and we look like we should have scored multiple goals if it wasn't for Navas. So I'm just saying, like, I think there's Mexico, I think, can say, in my humble opinion, that they comfortably have gotten to this final. Meanwhile, I think the United States has squeaked by in both the past 2 games.
I don't think they were comfortable when it comes to Mexico. To be honest, like
you're just a hater.
I think no. I mean, it's not been like to the death every match. I just don't think, like, if it was comfortable, we wouldn't have any critiques about it. Like, there's been a lot of critiques with this Mexico team, where every game they go into it, and like comfortable, I think to me would be like Mexico is out and out going to win this game no matter what. Going into every game, there has been a lot of issues with this team that has not yet been addressed. Like I mentioned, number one being goal scoring opportunities and creativity. It still hasn't been addressed yet. And it's showing. Like, Honduras very easily could have finished that 1-1, could have got a goal at the end there. Saudi Arabia, like, it's Saudi Arabia, but they at least, like, most of that first half, Mexico were sweating a little bit. It wasn't as easy as Mexico thought it was going to be against Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia were looking pretty good. The issue was, that they, unfortunately, the ball fell back at Vega and scored it, and it was an own goal. Like, that's not comfortable. That is not comfortable. Costa Rica also, like, I'm not saying this is how they played, but it was also their third game in the group stage, and they are pretty much going to go through no matter what. Like, they didn't have to win that game against Mexico, so they didn't try as much. I'm not saying that to discredit Mexico's draw there, because again, it was a draw. But, like, there's issues. There's issues with this team where I can't say. But yeah, 100%. But there's issues with this team, so I don't think it's been comfortable. But the USA, on the other hand, though, yeah, it's been way less comfortable. And I'm like, the USA almost doesn't deserve to be here, is how I would put it. Guatemala almost deserves more to be here than the USA does. So, like, I don't think either team it's been comfortable for either team, which is good. That's really good for the neutral viewer and for the tournament and CONCACAF overall. But it's definitely not been comfortable for any team. I haven't even given my score yet, but I think Mexico still win this game. Mexico still win this game because they've done a little bit more than the USA, in my opinion, in this tournament. But it's not. It's like it's going to be like a 2-1. I think it's still a 2-1 for Mexico here. Mexico, it's probably 1-1 for a long time. Mexico pull out something from nothing towards the end a little bit, probably like a 7. That's what they've been. That's how Mexico's been scoring. They're getting something from nothing.
Now the game, it's called good runs and good delivery in the box.
But there hasn't been any. That's what I'm saying. There has been no attacking prowess from this team, really. Look, they're getting goals, but they're not getting as many good opportunities as this team should be getting relative to the playing field. It is still a struggle with this team. Like, it's a 1-0 win against Honduras. It's a 2-0 win against Saudi Arabia, where it was an own goal and one fell back to him because it was a bad shot. 0 goals against Costa Rica. Yes, there should have been one. On the paper, 0 goals, right?
I completely disagree with you. I genuinely think we've actually improved our goal scoring opportunities and had better chances. I mean, Marcelo Ruiz should have scored, but he hit it right at the keeper against Honduras too. So honestly, if you add up all the chances we've had in terms of should have scored, it could be a lot more. It just, we got to be more clinical. I can say clinical, yes. Goal scoring opportunities in the past games, I think we've improved tremendously, and I think the goal Raul Jimenez scored shows that we can score from open play because that whole buildup was amazing. So I just think that it's taking time, but I think we've improved as the tournament's gone on, in my opinion. I think you've improved. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
think it's the clinical aspect. That's the thing. I think we're lacking the like. There's the chances are there. If you watch the entire game, the chances are there. We're just not clinical enough to finish it. And it's gonna fall either way. And I think there's gonna be a lot more opportunities against the United States. And that's when you got to be clinical. Like I'd hope for like an idea in a dream world to be 4-0 type thing. But I think
I
realistically
don't
it'd be.
know.
I said in a dream world, all right, in a dream world where everything's
Yeah.
perfect in life, it would be 4-0. But 2-0, I'll happily be happy with.
Sure. I mean, I
Happy with.
think it's getting better, but I don't know. We've seen Mexico be way better attacking wise previously. There's just so much still that could improve attacking wise. I think like yes, goal scoring opportunities are getting better, but it's still not fixed. Like it's been a consistent problem over and over and over again. And that Honduras game doesn't like it improved a little bit, but the game before was not that much better. Like the game before when Vega scored the goal, I was on football, Mexican football Twitter and comment sections. Everybody was like, we finally scored an open play goal. We can score an open play goal. One game, 2 games doesn't change that. Like there's still an issue that's persisting there, right? And it goes hand in hand with the clinicality. I think they could produce more at the same time they could be finishing more, and they're just not. So like the only thing for Mexico here is like you're right, they need to finish their chances. And you're saying that oh it's a high stakes game, are probably going to go up a level. They know the pressure. Well, so can the USA. Like who's saying the USA won't? Like yes, Mexico can, but USA's defense could equally do the same thing. So I just mean that I think it's not going to be Mexico are going to figure it out magically this game, and they're going to be able to score 2 or 3 like willy nilly. I just don't see it like that personally, but I still think they're going to win this game. I still think they can score 2. One of them is going to be a probably U.S. mistake because that is how they've been conceding a lot here, or sometimes here in this tournament. But I still think Mexico, yes, are going to win. I'm just saying that is a problem that I still want to see improvement on for this game that I'm not confident I will personally. Whereas the USA, like they're getting opportunities and there's like their biggest issue is just clinicality too. But I think USA have been doing fine with their chances. It's just the teams are playing are a little bit different than the Mexico teams are playing. Blah, blah, blah. Holding. Well, of course, if you're at this point in the video, let us know your predictions in the comments down below. We will be reading and reacting to as many as we can. We will, of course, have a reaction video for this one out afterwards as well. But yeah, so going to be a good one at 4 p.m., right? Is that 4 or 7?
4 o'clock Pacific.
4 Pacific, so 7 Eastern on Sunday. Make sure to watch that game because it's going to be one for the ages, hopefully. I really want it to be a good game. That's all. Honestly, that's all I care about right now. I don't want a 3 or 4 thrashing from either
I'd
team. I
love
just
that.
want to.
I'd love that. I'd love
For
that.
the sake of my phone data and group chat, I don't want to get these texts from Andres saying "ha." So
Like I
yeah, make
did
sure
for
to
the
watch
other
that one.
game.
Yeah, make sure to watch that one. And yeah, we'll have a lot of Concacaf Gold Cup content. Even following the Gold Cup, we got some videos that should be really interesting coming out afterwards. So make sure to stick around. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a like if you guys want to help grow the channel. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, see you guys in future videos. Take care.
Peace.